It's another workshop Wednesday, so I think we'll go ahead and do an easy start this time. This is on a non-heat pump Coleman 13.5. Let me get the camera spun around and we'll get started on this one. I would recommend first shutting off the breakers to the AC units before doing this, because your white wire is a neutral, your black wire is hot if the unit should turn on, but the neutral is on all the time. Alright, take this unit and I literally set it down right under there, and then I put 2 screws in it, one on each side there. And then I bring the wire up with this wire right here from the motor, and I go through right here. Make sure that you can see that on camera. Right here. Alright, so I pop this thing out. There are just 2 little tabs and it pushes from the outside in. Be careful when you reach your hand inside here, because these are super sharp. There it is right there. Okay. And then I take, where are my cutters? And I cut this in between the 2 black tabs so that I can get there we go, so that I can get this wire to go in there. I go ahead and feed the wire in first through the small hole. Gets even smaller with this big old fat wire in there. So, alright, now I take this and we feed it through here. Very non-cooperative today. There. Alright. Get that set in there. Make sure that you don't have the zip tie in there as well, because it'll never fit with that. And then you got to work this thing in here. I found it's easier to work with grabbing both sides of the wire so that you can work it. But again, be careful, because that metal there is very sharp. Done. Okay, and there is some goopy stuff. It looks like plumber's putty. They put this on here to keep the bugs out. It's not to waterproof it. That way, so you don't get all kinds of bugs in this cavity. Because spiders would definitely, spiders and wasps and other insects love hanging out in this compartment. So now I'm going to move you over so that you can watch what I do on this side. For most of the models, I normally use this junction right here. Okay, so this wire should be this wire right here, and it is. And then this white wire that goes to the capacitor. The white wire that goes to the capacitor right here. It also attaches to the yellow and the white go onto the same terminals on the capacitor. This white wire should be this one right here. As if you can see, those are the 2 wires we're going to be installing. So basically the way this works is this white wire goes to the capacitor, and we cut this off and we strip this bad boy back. take our brown wire from our harness and we connect it to the white wire. And I'll explain the path that this goes through in just a second. Let's get this junctioned up here. Use a crimp on it. And crimp this like so. Alright, always pull on your crimp to make sure that your wires are good and snug. Okay, then this white wire is going to go in place where the wire that I took off goes to. You want to make sure that you firmly seat it on the little tabs and give it a tug to make sure that it's tight. And then the orange wire will join the red wire, which also goes to the capacitor, or sorry, compressor, not the capacitor. Silly. Those words are not interchangeable, just so you know. Anyhow, get this on here. Alright, that's good. Alright, make sure it's firmly seated. The black wire has got to join this junction. So I'll go ahead and cut this off and then strip these. And then I'll explain the path that you just created for the Easy Start to work. I just got these cutters. I'm not used to which little thing where you strip the wires. Okay, so we get all of these and connect them together. Get another wire nut, crimp nut, whatever, and put it in place. And crimp it. Tug on your wires. Good. Alright, so that's how quick and easy it is. Now, what happens is when this wire coming from the electrical connections for the AC unit is actually a neutral. So this one is your neutral, this one is your hot. Whenever the unit is when the fan comes on, it does this other set of wires here. This white and this black go to the actual fan. Alright, that'll start the fan. Then when the fan's been running for a minute or what have you, then when the compressor kicks on, this wire goes live right here, this purple wire coming from the electrical controls. When this turns hot, then it turns on the Easy Start because we've tapped into it. So when the Easy Start is on, now we have taken the white wire going to the compressor and intervened. So what happens is the neutral line goes over to the Easy Start, goes to its microprocessor and its capacitor, and it measures how much current it takes for this specific unit to run. So then the orange wire is the other half of the capacitor, so it is literally measuring how much capacitance to allow to run to the compressor. And that's just a short and quick, dirty how it works. There is more to it, but that's just a quick and dirty how it works and how you're going to hook it up. So technically, and I've had this happen twice on some Dometic heat pump units where this junction, like I had to take most of this off, the shroud off to get to the junction, so I literally just came right here to these two wires and was able to insert the Easy Start by only having access to these two wires, because technically that's all you really need. So you would put your black wire, make a junction right here, insert your black wire, then you cut this one. This side goes to the white wire, this side goes to the brown wire, and then you junction this one and put the orange wire onto it. So it can be done without getting to this, but it's best if you were to do this that you use crimps that are weatherproof. So, but that is a quick and dirty of how I do the easy starts. I'll mount 2 screws in there. I'll bring some zip ties up when I'm all done, and then I'll roll this up in here as well, and then put it all back together. So, but that is how easy it is to put an easy start in. Okay, this is the second unit on the same RV. This is a 15K Coleman with the heat pump. So let's see how this one hooks up just a little bit differently. Okay, so we want to find the black wire. So we're going to pull on it. So this is the black wire right here. But if you notice, it goes up and goes into the circuit board. We don't want to fool with that, so we're just going to take it right like this and cut it, turn it into a junction. Lost my wire there. I have no idea what he was saying. Sounded fun. Sounded important though. Alright. I didn't even get my easy start in place yet, so bear with me. Let me get caught up here. Thing's loaded with spiders. You got to be careful when you take these things open. I've seen huge mud dauber nests in here before, like to the point where I had to chisel it all out because this whole bottom half was completely full and I couldn't even see the capacitors. It was crazy. Alright, do the same as before on the other one. Just cut that. Go ahead and remove it. It's actually easier to put it on when it's not connected. And it's got the plumber's putty. We want to definitely make sure to put that back to seal it so that the bugs cannot get in there, even though there are spiders in there right now. Drop this down in here. That's being difficult. Too much piping, so we'll go in from the other side. Through here. Really, that circuit board being there is the only thing that changes the way that you connect it. Instead of finding the purple and black junction, you're going to find your black wire coming from your compressor. This without junctioning the camera into it, wrapping the wire all up around it. Put my junction here. And then with this done, everything else is exactly the same. So you just want to make sure that you're on your correct wiring, which is the white wire goes to brown, orange wire goes onto the capacitor where the red wire is, and your white wire that's left will go on where the white wire that you take off. Be careful when you do this, because if you jerk up, I've slit the back of my hand and all kinds of stuff open. If the capacitor is too hard to move, there are screws on each side of it. If you just loosen one side a little bit, if you can spin the capacitor and make it easier to work on. And then tighten it right back up. Alright, so this capacitor has black, yellow, yellow, and white. So we want to grab the white, cut the tip off, and then go ahead and junction the white and the brown as stated already. This to this. And this coloring is for the Dometic. Sorry, not interchangeable. This is for the Coleman, but the capacitor wiring is very similar on the Dometic, and I may do another video on that. I have an Airstream coming up, and most Airstreams have Dometic units. Okay, so that's done. My black junction is done. Now I need to insert the white onto the capacitor. So what I did right there was I took this wire, move that one out of the way because it's not important. It doesn't need to be on film. Okay, so this one right here, what I did was I took it and I bent the tab towards the camera. Then I took the one in the back, which is this yellow one right here, and I bent it backwards, away from the camera. What that did was it created some space for me to be able to use this tab over on the left for my white wire, since everything is so jammed in there. And, you know, check your connections, make sure it's good, because if that connection is not good, then every time your capacitor goes to kick on, it's not going to get proper power, and it could damage the capacitor later on. Now the other wire that's left is my orange wire right here, and it's got to go over on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this red wire off of here and move it to the back right there, and just push it back out of the way. Oops. I'm going to put it on the tab this time and then move it out of the way. Oops, a little bit too far forward. I'm trying to use my phone as my eyes through the camera since it's so cramped in there. Let's try it left-handed maybe. There we go. Now let's go ahead and put it on the right side. So this wire right here on the left-hand side of the right terminal. A little bit more over. There we go. Get in there. Okay, I gotta move you guys out the way so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, so now that one's firmly connected. That one's firmly connected. That is what it takes to do one with the heat pump. So, recap. So, this white wire right here is the wire that goes to the compressor. That's this wire right here. And then that connects to brown right there. Junction with the black, which goes up to the circuit board that's in the top. The circuit board is what controls whether or not you're on heat pump or off heat pump, because it causes this valve to reverse. It's a reversing valve for the Freon, so it generates heat instead of cool. And then this is your white wire down here at the bottom by my finger. It goes over and connects onto the capacitor where the existing white wire came off, right here. And then the final wire, which is this orange wire right here down at the bottom, it goes where the other red wire is, that also goes to the compressor, which is this one right here. So let me pull that excess back in there. That looks terrible. Okay, so you don't really have to neaten this up too much. There's not a whole lot going on. Only qualified people should be in here anyhow. And thank you for watching. All I got to do is mount my my box, do a couple of zip ties up here with this wire, and put my ring on here, and then put my plumber's putty to keep the spiders out. There's a bunch of them in here too. So anyhow, that is a heat pump version of a Coleman roof AC. I think this is 15,000 BTU. Thanks for watching.
We are the dry campers, Leanna and Mike. We make you feel pampered of solar power you'd like.